Washington. He's got it. Throw it up first. He did it.
0-1 to Poole. In the air, left field, and Pools has given St. Louis the lead. A dramatic, towering three.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Stretches. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of B.S.ing Sports here on the B.S.ing Network, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. I hope you like the new intro. Ryan put a lot of time into that. Sorry, I left my phone on. It was the intro to the show. I was like, "Why? What am I hearing?" Anyway, yeah. So thanks for joining us here. Usually we do our baseball shows on Saturday, but we have plans tomorrow. We're going to hit a couple golf balls into the water because neither of us are good. But we'll get over that.
That's true. Yeah, unfortunately, the good golfing co-host isn't on today, but he helped me fix a couple things on my swing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still really bad at golf, but at least I'm heading in the right direction now. Correct.
Forward. All right, yeah. So for those of you who have been following along for our baseball shows, we're going to start with the Immaculate Grid. We're going to play some pickle, and then we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk a couple of different categories, and then we're going to do one thing. Ryan will go into that once we get to it. But first, we need to tell you that not only is a win-loss on the line, but there's something special on the line for Immaculate Grid today.
Oh, yeah. So today's winner of the Immaculate Grid not only gets bragging rights like every other episode that we do, but our last event for this show is an all 2010s draft. We will continue to go work backwards through the decades, but the rules of that draft are the player's debut had to occur between the years of 2010 and 2019, and the player can be drafted to any position that they have played at any point in their career. That's a key one because that can make things a little dicey and change some things up. So keep an eye out for that. But yes, the winner of the Immaculate Grid will get the first pick. And doing some research, looking at players who started in the 2010s, I think first pick could be pretty crucial here. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But Bill, I think am I still on the 2-game winning streak, or did I drop?
You are. No, you won last week, which makes it me, and we're not playing this on Saturday, so you're likely to go 3 in a row here.
We need CeeDee Lamb to the Dodgers. Z-Money, welcome back, buddy. Football season's right around the corner. I can't wait to be talking to you.
Yeah, Z-Money, what's the deal with CeeDee's contract situation? He flat out told the Cowboys he wasn't showing up to camp. He hasn't shown up to camp, and there's no negotiations on the board, man. It looks like you are about to lose CeeDee Lamb.
Not unless he's a Dodgers fan and CeeDee Lamb gets signed by the Dodgers.
Fair enough.
Yep. So today's great.
All right, yeah, so let's get into it. For those of you who paying attention. Okay, good. Me, you, me, you, me. This week's grid, across the top is San Francisco Giants, 200 career wins pitching, played second base a minimum of 1 game. Down the left side will be the New York Mets, the Los Angeles Angels. I messed that one up. I do it every time. And the Oakland Athletics. I should have said Philadelphia Athletics just to keep it interesting, but I didn't.
The Philadelphia Athletics do qualify for that. You should just said the Athletics.
That's a good point. So I'm going to take the top left square and do the same guy I always use for this square, Darren Ruff, for a whopping 2%.
It's a very, very, very nice pull. Add my grid to the square. Yeah, a couple different names here. I'm going to hope that this blocks you here. I'm going to go Seaver for 38%. Obviously not very rare, but I know Bill likes his stat categories, so.
Yeah, Bill does like his stat categories.
Big Sexy
for 13% at the Angels, 200 career wins. Could have used him as the Mets too.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. I'm surprised that wasn't a little bit lower. Okay, so World War II is no effect to him. I'll pick Lefty Grove, 200 wins for the Philadelphia Athletics at 7%. I just need to make sure that he didn't fall within the World War II, time frame. Make sure he didn't, go leave and do some service, come back, only win like 199 games and break my heart.
You constantly remind me that he was a closer for the Mets, but he did win 200 games, 10% on Tom Glavine.
Tom Glavine was a starter. Not only did he win 200, won 300 and 5.
Well, there you go.
305. So yeah, very, very good pull. Very good pull there. I've got the obvious, Nolan Ryan for center. I'm going to try second base here. How do I spell this guy's name? Yeah, there it is. Asdrubal Cabrera at second base for 0.6%.
0.6. That's the one I was going to use. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're chopped liver on that second base one there, but I'll just let you know that right now.
Oh, 27% on Catfish Hunter. But I filled it out.
There we go. Jed Lowry for 7%.
It's just like 2 years ago. Tony Kemp, Athletic second base, 8%.
Okay. Angel second base, Eckstein's probably going to be really popular. I've got one. No, Segura only played shortstop with him. That hurts.
Okay, so just fill out the squares. Well, Howie Kendrick did it.
Yep.
7%, Howie Kendrick.
I'm surprised that wasn't more popular. It's,
so am I. Yeah, he played there for a while.
Yeah, he was there a long time. Okay, let's pivot here. Tim Hudson for 5%.
Oh.
There's three names that were really easy for me there.
Yeah, I mean, Gossage is there. It's probably where I'm going.
I think it's your best bet.
I think Casimir is the other one I can think of.
Well, you can definitely think of more than that, but yeah, I think Casimir works as well.
I'm not 100%. I'm more confident about Gossage, but played second base minimum of 1 game. Well, hang on. Let me try and block you here. Giants Athletics. Oh, gotta actually click the square there, Bill. Hoyt Wilhelm, 0.8%.
Good pull.
He pitched for like 14 or 12 teams or something like that. It's crazy.
Oh, what is that guy's name?
Normally, I'd be willing to help.
No, outfielder.
He's on the team now?
No.
Well, I think they got Rengifo playing second now.
I'll think of it. No, I'm talking for this square, the one that I've highlighted.
Oh, I thought you had the highlighted second base.
Yeah. No. I've got it. I've got names for that. I just tried to go real rare there and got a little too cute.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess I'll pick. Yeah, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Should just
I thought that would have been a lot higher. Yes.
Yeah. David Eckstein at 10% for Angel second base.
Like I said, I just got to fill out squares here. So nope. That's not
his name's Rich.
Thank you.
And it's spelled with 2 S's.
Rich.
The Gossage part.
Thank you. 0.5% on that one. That was pretty low. And I think I got Jose Reyes here for second base and Mets. So I got the grid filled out.
There you go. Attaboy. I think he did. No. Had to get cute there. Already missing a square. So.
Yep. And like I said, I got Jose Reyes.
That actually is going to be a fairly rare pool. I don't know that. Yeah, it's very common that people know that Jose Reyes ever played second base.
4%.
Yeah, I'll just finish it out here real quick. Nolan, get myself some respect here. Yep, 321. Not very good. Not
It is.
very good.
It is.
Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go over the summary
All
here
right.
real quick.
So over the summary real quick, the most popular votes in each square, top left to right and then down. 27% for Willie Mays, 38% Tom Seaver, 12% for Jeff McNeil, Lincecum for 24%, Nolan Ryan, which is what Ryan took for 54%. Bobby Grich, didn't even know that was a guy, 15%, played second base for the Angels. And then Zito, Catfish, and Gallagher round out.
Yeah,
the
Zito was the first one that came to mind for me, and then Matt Chapman.
Oh, I forgot about Chapman. I did forget about Chapman.
Matt Chapman.
All right, so that is our immaculate grid. I am back in the win column after losing 2 in a row. So I'm gonna square this little buddy here right up. I know we're trying to 10 and 4 because things matter. These things matter.
Bill's gonna set his bragging rights as he should.
And then I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna get the pickle.
Yep.
All right. So
let's just guess.
Do we remember who it was last week?
Stanton. I don't know who it was last week. Let's just pick a random name. We have gotten this in one try before.
Not today.
Okay, so born in the U.S. and it's either AL Central, AL West, or NL East, and it's got to be like fairly youngish because 34 is not within 2 years.
Lefty, USA born, possible NL East. Ranger Suarez.
Very possible.
No, he's not USA born.
Yeah. Christopher Sanchez? No H. No H.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the first H, got it.
Yeah.
Not born.
In Dominican. Let's get a clue here. Let's get a clue.
It is the NL East.
Yep, lefty.
And it is a starting pitcher.
Max Fried.
He just came back from IL, didn't he? It is not Max Fried. It is not Atlanta. However, the age is 28.
Or 29.
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Correct. Sorry, math is hard.
Sale, that seems a little young for Sale. Sale's got to be like young 30s.
He is mid 30s.
Let's see. So the Mets. Let's see. The Marlins. Nationals. How old is Mackenzie Gore? That seems a little old for him. He's a little younger than that.
25, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could see if it's Washington.
Yeah, right team. It's not.
Okay, so it's either Marlins or Mets.
Yep.
Lefty, born in the U.S.
I feel like this is a real easy one. Braxton Garrett. Not a bad guess. I mean, would really narrow down the team.
That's a good point. We got the guesses. May as well use them.
Yeah.
It's not Miami, so it's the Mets.
So it's the Mets. And it's 28-year-old starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Man, why am I blanking on their rotation so bad, especially because they're playing so well?
You are not the only one here, bud.
The Mets rotation. My brain keeps going Shota and Monaga, and I'm like, that's the Cubs.
It's righty, so no.
Yeah, Paul Blackburn's a righty. What about Peterson? Oh,
I'm
what's that
blanking
guy?
on Mets pitchers here, bud.
What's his first name? Type in Peterson, Peter, like Peterson. Real easy.
David? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that guy's name.
Kudos to you.
That's the dude that gave
would've
up
never
like
So
7 or 8
you had the one
runs
up on me.
without getting an out against the Phillies a couple years ago. On to our next topic here.
Solid starting
Pretty big
rotation
topic.
guy.
Yeah.
This
Mike Trout.
poor guy.
Yeah, Mike Trout out for the season, tore his meniscus in his rehab from his torn meniscus. One of the better generational talents and a name I am sure we will see in the 2010s draft. I'm almost positive of it. But that being said, where does Mike Trout stand in like center fielders in your lifetime? Like what, as far as is he the best? Is he second best? I mean, obviously Griffey Jr.'s there too.
Griffey, yeah. In my lifetime, I'd put him at probably around the 2 area with, again, the only other person up there being Ken Griffey Jr.
Would you put him? So you would put Griffey above Mike Trout?
I would, yes. Griffey dealt with injuries later in his career, not as consistently as Mike did, and not to mention 600 and 46 home runs or whatever Griffey has. Yeah, I would put Griffey above Mike Trout, just because the biggest thing about consistency is being on the field, right? Like,
best ability is availability.
Exactly. And Trout has failed to be available for the last 5 years. So,
yeah. And that being said, I think it puts into perspective just how dominant his run at the top of, being the best player in baseball for the 2010s decade. So this is a guy we're talking about with an 86 career WAR, right? And to your point, he hasn't played more than 140 games since 2018.
Correct. Yeah. You're talking a guy who's hitting 299 with 378 home runs in his career.
So in 2019, he played 134 games and still won MVP. So that's how good this guy is. But so last 5 years, it's 29 games this year, 82 the year before that, 119 the year before that, 36, and then of course 53 in the COVID shortened year. So that wasn't necessarily his fault. So you could probably say that's like his last real, healthy season. But so some of the numbers over that time frame, like 378 home runs, 954 RBIs, so just south of 1,000. Hitting 299 for his career, just fell under the 300 mark, but an OBP of 410, a 581 slugging percentage, just shy of 1,000 OPS for his career. He is the current, career total active leader in OPS plus at 173. And a lot of people forget this is a guy, in his first 2 seasons had back-to-back 30 stolen base years. And, he was a 30, almost 50 guy as a rookie. So it's, recency bias is taken over on Mike Trout, but I'm assuming you believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I would agree he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Again, we talk about how it's ridiculous that there are no more, or there aren't really unanimous Hall of Famers. And Mariano Rivera was the first one. But no, I do for sure think first year of eligibility he gets in.
Yeah, so the COVID year didn't have an all-star game, but if you don't include that, he was an all-star for 11 straight years. So, and 3-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, and he was top 5 voting in MVP essentially every year of his career up until 2021. So, yeah, very dominant, truly dominant run as the best player in baseball. No
Correct,
doubt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Phillies. Bill, since you're sporting the Phillies jersey, I'll let you lead off. What do you make of the Phillies right now?
Listen, good teams go through slumps, right? And the Phillies are in one. They were really hot for the entire first 90 games of the season, and now they're in about a 20-game slump. It happens. It really does happen. The best teams in history have done this. Now, I'm concerned that it's not just one or the other, pitching or hitting. I'm concerned that it's everything at the same time has just completely shit the bed. But, there's just too much talent on the roster, and we've seen throughout the first half of the season that they are a really good team, really good, talented team. And I'm hoping, getting swept at home by the Yankees is a kick in the ass, and they get it back going tonight. But I'm not in panic mode yet. They go through another 3 weeks of this shit, yes, I'll be in panic mode. But right now, I'm not in panic mode. You're talking for half a month. They played bad ball.
Interesting stat about the Phillies, who are 4-11 in their last 15 games, which is not good. The 2009 World Series runner-up Phillies had a 3-12 stretch, and the 2008 World Series champion Phillies had a 4-11 stretch in their regular season. There is such a thing as getting hot at the right time, and I think the inverse is true. I think there's such a thing as getting cold at the right time because ebbs and flows
You'd
are going to
rather
happen.
it now.
Yeah, ebbs and flows are going to happen. Outside of the 116-win Mariners team, I don't know of any teams that have not gone through a cold stretch during the season. But, like, to your point, it's the beginning of August. I'd rather go 4-11 in the beginning of August than 4-11 at the end of September.
Correct.
Because these guys are all due to get hot again, right? Like, they are going to get hot again. This is too talented of a ball club. There's too much talent in the lineup. The pitching rotation's been, outstanding for a majority of the season. The bullpen had got a little bit better with Carlos Estevez, at the trade deadline, and they're still a good bullpen. They're just not clicking right now. It happens.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Tom, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, I got nothing to say other than I believe that they are just getting cold at the right time. And that's a weird thing to say, but if there is such a thing as getting hot at the right time, which inevitably will come, there's such a thing as getting cold at the right time. It implies the existence.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we're on the same page on that.
Yep. So,
old man, I know you're
no
watching.
Panic. No panic, Phillies fans. No panic at all.
Exactly.
So, 2010's draft, we kind of did something like this a little bit while ago, but we've changed the rules since then, so I will go over them again. And as mentioned in the beginning of the show, the winner of the Immaculate Grid Challenge, which today was Bill, gets the first pick. And then, do you want to do snake style, or do you just want to alternate back and forth? I'm assuming snake style.
No, we could just go back and forth.
Okay, we'll go back and forth here. Yeah, that's true. Probably should have did better in the grid then. So Bill will go first, I'll go second, and we'll keep going back and forth. The players that are eligible, how we determined eligibility is the players had to play their first major league game between the years of 2010 and 2019. So if you went on, Baseball Reference and it says 2010 to 2019 as their first years, then, that's good. We're factoring in, career stats when we talk about, why we selected these players, not necessarily just what happened in the 2010s decade.
Correct.
And players are eligible to be drafted at any position they have played at, even if it's just one inning. So you can potentially
Andrew Romine.
Andrew Romine's about to be all over this grid. You could potentially see some, very weirdly drafted players in odd spots. So leading off, Team Bill is now on the clock.
Did you by chance make an Excel sheet for this?
I did, but I have my draft board on it. So we'll just verbally say it, and then I'll put it up at the end.
Okay, sounds good. What I'll do is I'll share mine with you, and we can put them side by side.
Yep.
All right, so we're not going to work a trade or nothing, and I'm just going to go right after it. We've already talked about the guy on this show. I think he's the best center fielder that I've seen in my generation consistently. Again, I'm a little older than Ryan. I got to consistently see King Griffey Jr. growing up.
I got to see Hurt Griffey Jr.
I got to see Prime Griffey, and man, that was the sweetest swing in history. I'm obviously drafting Mike Trout 1 overall. So I got him on the board. Mike Trout.
I'm sure Bill's boardroom is really excited about that one. For those of you tuning in, watching, we will be posting. We'll take our teams, make lineup cards out of them, and then post them on TikTok, all over social media as a short. And, so that way you guys can see, you guys can vote who has the better team. And one thing I forgot to mention, so we have one starting pitcher, one relief pitcher, a DH, and then one person for every other spot on the field. So my first pick, and
one relief pitcher and one closer, or just one relief pitcher?
Nope, we said just one relief pitcher.
Okay, I must have forgot the second spot. That's fine, because I had a hard time finding just a random relief pitcher.
Yeah, so my first pick, and I think that this gives me a position. I'm taking the clear-cut best second baseman of the 2010s. And Jose, yes,
right. I don't know if it's coming through as a guest, but you're breaking up real bad. I know we're dealing with a storm outside.
Yeah. So my first pick's Jose Altuve, if I'm coming through clearly now. So we got a 52 career WAR, scored over 1,000 runs, stole over 300 bases, career on base percentage of 363, slugging 469, and an OPS plus of 129. Yeah, I mean, just as far as second basemen go, it's not a very historically offensive position, but Jose Altuve head and shoulders above the rest of the guys who started in the 2010s. So I think this was a very easy pick for me.
Yeah, true story. I had Jose Altuve as my number 2 pick as well. So it was Trout Altuve. We'll see how it shakes out from here.
Yep. So
let's see.
Bill's up. Well, let's see what he's got.
I can go 3 different places here. I think I'm going to take the best catcher from the 2010s with my next pick. I'm going to go Salvador Perez.
Posey was, I think, 2009. I think Posey was 2009. I looked it up and I was like, dang it.
No, so I'm going to go Salvador Perez. Made his first appearance in 2010. He's got over 1,500 hits, 265 home runs, a career 267 batting average. He's got 885 RBIs, 303 OBP, 459 slugging, 762 OPS, and a 105 OPS plus. Which I get, those numbers aren't super fantastic, but they're pretty good. He's been to 9 All-Star games. He's got 5 Gold Gloves, 4 Silver Sluggers, and he's a World Series MVP. So I am going to take, with my second pick, Salvador Perez.
It's crazy that Salvador Perez has only started his career in the 2010s. Like, I feel like that dude has been in baseball forever.
It would feel that way, yeah.
Yeah, so my second pick, you took the best center fielder of the 2010s. I am going to take potentially one of the best center fielders who's currently playing second base and shortstop and has played right field, and it's going to be Mookie Betts. I know that's a pretty vanilla pick. I did actually have him on my draft board in a different position, but in the event that you did take Mike Trout from me, I want to lock in my center field spot, so I'm going Mookie Betts here in center. 68.7 career WAR, 1,500 hits, 262 home runs, 295 career average, 181 stolen bases, a 375 OBP, and over 500 slugging percentage, an OPS of 899, and an OPS plus of 139. He really didn't truly come on until 2016 when he was an AL MVP runner-up. Silver Slugger, All-Star, Gold Glove, that thing. And he has been an All-Star every single year since 2016. So he is just a model of consistency, been performing at a high level, whether he was with Boston or LA. And he's only 31 years old. So he's still got some time left on him as well. Turned 32 a little bit later this year. So Mookie Betts is going to be my second pick. I
do like that as a good pick. I do like that. Okay, so which position do I want to fill next? All right, pick number 3. He started his career in right field. He only recently made the transition to first base, but I'm going to keep him as my right fielder for this give and go here. He has won 2 MVPs. He is the Phillies' current first baseman. I'm going to take Bryce Harper as my number 3 overall pick. Again, another guy who 2013 he came up, 2012, 2013, I don't remember which year. But since he's come up, he's got over 1,600 hits, over 330 home runs, 281 batting average, almost 1,000 RBIs. He has stolen 140 bags in his career. 389 OBP, 522 slugging, 912 OPS, bringing it to a 143 OPS plus, which is really good. 2-time MVP, as I pointed out, Rookie of the Year, 8-time All-Star, and a 3-time Silver Slugger. So I'm going to take Bryce Harper, number 3, off the board.
It's a very nice pick.
I had it as my number 3 pick, and then I took Salvi instead of because you took Altuve. I wanted to lock in the catcher, so I took Salvi, and then I jumped down to Bryce.
Yeah, can't really go wrong about that. I just think outfield's kind of deep in the 2010s, particularly right field. There were a lot of names that popped off to me. And before I get into my next pick, did you find that there were any positions that were particularly weaker or stronger than other ones?
Yeah, shortstop sucked.
Yeah, I have two extremely easy names, and that was about it, man. There was nobody else that I was really tempted to pick at shortstop.
I found 3, but 2 of them are guys that bounced around the infield.
Okay, so I have one that is like a for sure shortstop and another one that like is not primarily a shortstop.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of let that one sit because I can go back and forth either one of those positions. So first base is an interesting one. Do I want to get really creative with this? No, I don't. So I'm going to go into left field, right? I think that there was a clear-cut, all-around great left fielder in the 2010s, and he is, kind of had a resurgence year this year, and had some big numbers. Started his career with the Marlins, got traded out of there, is now in Milwaukee, and that would be Christian Yelich. So I'm going Christian Yelich, number 3 pick there. Again, I just was not impressed by the left fielders at all. Trout could have fit left field. Mookie, I'm sure, probably played left field, but I think strategically Betts in center, Yelich in left. I think that's a pretty good combination there. Some numbers from Yelich's career: 42 career WAR, close to 1,600 hits, just over 200 home runs. I know the powers kind of died off from where he was earlier. 280 career hitters, stolen over 200 bases, getting on base at a 377 clip and slugging at a 466 with an OPS plus of 130. Played on some, bad Marlins teams and really only had like a couple of, star-studded seasons there when he first got to Milwaukee. But like I said, he's kind of having a resurgence this year, hitting 315. Was an MVP and then the runner-up the year following. And we're looking at MVP, 3-time All-Star, Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger, and a 2-time batting champ. So, not super impressive numbers, but I feel like that's kind of indicative of how bad left field was for players that, started in the 2010s.
That's good. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go first base here. You said first base was interesting. I don't think it's as interesting. There are a lot of players that can fill it out. I agree. But I'm going to go first base and take what I believe to be the obvious best first baseman of the 2010s in Paul Goldschmidt. Started his career in 2010. Has over 2,000 hits, 357 home runs, 289 average, 1,100 plus RBIs, 160 plus stolen bases. People forget that he can steal the bag. Well, used to be able to steal bags. 383 OBP, 512 slugging, 895 OPS, and 139 OPS plus, which gives him a 62.3 WAR. He's been an MVP, 7-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, and a 5-time Silver Slugger. So yes, number 4 pick, first base, Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, that's actually who I had at the top of my board for first baseman as well. And I very specifically had him at the top of the board for first baseman because I had the other great first baseman that started in the 2010s at the top of my board for third base. That's where I was going to get creative. But nonetheless, I am, since he does fit both corner and field positions, I now feel like I do have to lock this individual down, and I am going to take Freddie Freeman and put him at first base. An MVP, 8-time All-Star, World Series champ, Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger, with career 2,223 hits, career 301 hitter, 337 home runs, 1,200 home runs and RBIs apiece, a whopping 94 stolen bases, getting on base at a 388 clip, slugging over 500, OPS over 900, OPS 1 plus at 142. He was good with the Braves. He's been better with the Dodgers. It was kind of a heartbreaking scene as to how he left. There was the rumors that his agent kind of lied and, whatever the case may be there. But yeah, it was a little weird to watch Freddie Freeman not be a Brave in the beginning, but kind of grown accustomed to it now. So I'm going to take Freeman and I'll probably slide him over to first base.
Okay. Where do I want to go next? Let's see. I'm going to go to shortstop because he made the switch to third base, but when he first came up with the Orioles, he was a shortstop. And then he was traded to the Dodgers, obviously, and then signed with the Padres, a pretty big contributor for them making it to the NLCS a few years back when the Phillies beat them. I'm going to go with Manny Machado at shortstop because that's where he started his career. Over 1,800 hits, 320 plus home runs, 279, over 1,000 RBIs, 338 OBP, 46 slugging, 824 OPS, 124 OPS plus. Again, 6-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover, a Silver Slugger, and he won a Platinum Glove as well. So I'm going to go Manny Machado with my 5th overall pick, playing shortstop.
Yeah, it's a very good pick. That's who I had at the top of my shortstop board as well. Yeah, I thought that was going to be an
first
easy
pick was a big deal. First pick was a big deal.
Yes, first pick was a big deal. However, I don't think there's as big of a gap between Machado and the guy who I have at number 2 versus the position I'm about to take. Because I've already taken Freddie Freeman off the board for third baseman and moved him to first base again. I'm going to put Nolan Arenado at third base, and I mean he's head and shoulders above everybody else who qualifies on this list. So Nolan Arenado, 8-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove, 5-time Silver Slugger, 6-time Platinum Glove, 55 career WAR, 1,700 career hits, 336 home runs, 285 batting average, which I was a little bit surprised about. Nolan Arenado not necessarily known for being an average guy, but I will get into a little bit more interesting of a fact after that. Over 1,000 RBIs, 342 OBP, 519 slugging, an 860 OPS, and a 120 OPS plus. I know those offensive numbers aren't like, wow, this guy is like so elite. He had a pretty good prime as an offensive player, but I think, obviously defense, right? Nolan Arenado, when you hear his name, you think defense. And interestingly enough, in a time where power hitters, right? Because this is a guy who in 5 straight years had 42, 41, 37, 38, and 41 home runs. So he definitely has power. In a day and age where power hitters tend to strike out, Nolan Arenado's strikeouts are 122, 106, 103, 110, 100, and then he's never struck out more than 100 times in any other year. So not a big walker.
Got better.
Yeah, not a big walker, not a big strikeout guy. He's genuinely going to put the ball in play, especially given the era that we're in. So, yeah, Nolan Arenado, we're talking, all-star games consecutively. He's had multiple top 5 MVP finishes, hasn't gotten there yet. I don't think he ever will. But nonetheless, probably the best third baseman of anybody that started out in 2010s. Which, and judging by your reaction,
Well, really, of course he was. Yeah, of course he was the top of the board.
Yeah. Well, he was second on my board. I remember I had Freeman there. I was kind of hoping I could get away with Goldschmidt, Freeman.
Let's see.
While Bill thinks about his pick, if you guys could go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok. We're getting a little bit more into the short form content, and we will be posting our lineups and starting pitchers and everything on TikTok afterwards. And you guys can go ahead and vote who has the best lineup of players who started their career in the 2010s. And then next week, well, not next week, because next week I'll be traveling. The week after that, we will be looking into players who started their career in the 2000s, which I came to find out during my research that I know a lot more players that started their career in the 2000s than 2010s, funny enough.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, actually.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of 2008s, 2007s. I'm like, geez.
All right, I'm going to go left field because he plays left field right now for the New York Yankees. I'm going to go Giancarlo Stanton. I know as an average type of bat, he's not super fantastic.
That hurts.
But over 1,500 hits, over 420 home runs. He hits about 260, over 1,000 RBIs, 347 OBP, so he's still getting on base at a pretty good clip. 527 slugging, that's fantastic. 870 OPS for 137 OPS plus. He's got a 44.5 WAR. I didn't put the All-Star game stats and stuff here, but he's been an All-Star. And yeah, I mean, when you're like breaking it down and thinking in terms of the best left fielders from the 2010s, Giancarlo Stanton's name has got to be near the top. So I'm going Giancarlo Stanton. Funny story, he started his first 2 years as Mike Stanton.
Yeah, and he also started as a right fielder, which is where I had him in my draft board. So you really thinned out the herd on right field on me. Bryce Harper, Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Trout. So you've got your outfield squared away, yeah?
I do, yes.
Oh, okay. Not a problem. I will take an outfielder here, but I will not be taking him for outfield. I will be taking my designated hitter, and I feel like he is the best bat as far as the outfielders go left, and that is J.D. Martinez. J.D. Martinez, what were we going to say, Bill?
He was on my board.
Yeah. Career 286 hitter, 326 home runs, over 1,000 RBIs, getting on base at a 350 clip, slugging 520 for his career, 870 OPS and a 132 OPS plus. Obviously, kind of hitting a little bit of a downward trend. It took him a little bit to get signed this past offseason, which is kind of amazing because with the Dodgers last year in 2023, he hit 33 home runs and drove in 103 runs. But there were some obvious signs that, it was probably those numbers wouldn't have been as gaudy on a not so good team. So, the average was down, the on-base percentage was down. 6-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, not known for the glove, but can definitely get it done in his prime at designated hitter. So that's where I'm going.
I'm going to break into the pitchers here.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to go with closer, and I'm going to take Craig Kimbrell off the board.
Yeah. I had two closers. I only looked up 2 relief pitchers. I was like, this is going to be 1A, 1B.
Yeah. So Craig Kimbrell, 2.45 career ERA, even with the last 3 seasons where he's not been effective. So he's still got a 2.45 ERA, 440 saves under his belt, 1,250 plus strikeouts, 997 WHIP, Rookie of the Year, 9-time All-Star, and a World Series champion. He's very top of the list for best closers in the 2010s.
Yeah, I mean, I know that recency bias, particularly with Phillies fans, will kind of lead you to believe, even Orioles fans, that Craig Kimbrell's kind of washed, doesn't have it anymore, and that may be true. But Craig Kimbrell was one of the most, if not the most dominant closer of the 2010s as Mariano Rivera's career started to, fade out. Of course, he got a little old and was getting close to retirement. Kimbrell was a very, very dominant back-end arm, with the Braves, with the Padres, with the Cubs. Didn't matter where he went. He was a guy that moved around a lot, surprisingly, for being as dominant as he was.
They just kept replacing him with guys that were just as good. Doolittle came up behind him. Minter came up behind him.
They had that trio with the 2 lefties, Venners, O'Flaherty, and Kimbrell. And I think all of them had ERAs below 2 one year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nasty bullpen. They were a very good bullpen. Yeah, that's a very good pick. Let's see. Let me do some research here real quick.
Of course.
Make sure this is the guy I want to take.
While Ryan's doing that, again, as he already reiterated, or as he spoke about, I'll reiterate, please go to YouTube and subscribe, and go to TikTok and subscribe and follow us, and please comment on our videos. We're trying to get monetized. We can use all the help we could get.
So I'm going to make an interesting decision here, and this is not a player that I even thought to put at this position, but after just doing some quick research, I am going to take No, I'm not. I'm not going to take him. I'm not going to do that. I didn't say the name. I didn't submit the ticket yet. So let's see. I got that. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna break into the right fielders. Final answer. And this may be an interesting name to pick, but I feel like he's probably a little bit underrated throughout his whole career. And that's because he played with Andrew McCutchen and ended up taking Andrew McCutchen's position eventually, to which Andrew McCutchen ended up filling in for him while he was hurt and going, I'm the center fielder. This is my position. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I do.
I'm going Starling Marte. Not a sexy household name, not a guy that,
he was on my board.
Really think of. But, I mean, a 287 career hitter. So this is a guy that can put the ball in play. Only 154 home runs, 832 runs scored, 600 RBIs, 350 stolen bases, a 342 on base, and slugging 444 for his career. An OPS plus of 115. Yeah, I mean, he's just been solid, not fantastic. Did get caught, lead the league in caught stealing twice.
Mm-hmm.
And another interesting fact, he led the league in games played during the COVID year with 61, despite the fact that there were only 60 games on the schedule for MLB teams.
Mm-hmm.
He was traded in the middle of the season to a team that had played one less game than the team he was playing for. So he ended up leading the league with 61 games in a year where only 60 games were scheduled to be played. So I'm going Starling Marte in right field.
Okay. With my 8th overall pick, I'm going to fill third base, and I'm going to take Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, yep. He was on the board. The bringer of rain.
Yeah, 1,300 hits, 280 home runs, 261 batting average, 816 RBIs, 358 OBP, 489 slugging, 847 OPS, 129 OPS plus. He has an MVP under his belt, a 3-time All-Star, and a 2-time Silver Slugger. When I was looking at third baseman, I tried to do what you were looking at doing. It's like, okay, who are guys who started at third and now are playing first, and everybody knows him as first baseman. And then I came across Josh Donaldson, and I was like, it's gonna be tough to pass that one up. So yeah, give me Josh Donaldson as my 8th pick.
Yeah, it's a very good pick. And he, in the prime of his career, he did everything. He was a fantastic Gold Glove third baseman and obviously brought the power both in Oakland and Toronto. Kind of fell off there at the end with New York, but it is what it is. Can't win them all, right? Father Time is undefeated.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the starting pitchers. Every time I've convinced myself that I'm going this one guy, this other guy's name is just like. Yeah,
I've only got 2.
I've got 3 names. I think it's like 1A, 1B, and then like a clear number 3. But I'm not even convinced of that myself. You know what? I'm going to take the most. Let me look up. This little quick tidbit here, real quick. If we are going off of pure dominance, right? Not longevity. We're if it's one game, my team versus your team. I am taking this player as my starting pitcher. I'm taking Jacob deGrom. And I think that is an absolute, if we're considering just one game on the bump, that is a no-brainer. I mean,
we're assuming prime, right? Like if it's my team versus your team, prime.
Yeah.
Not once they're washed, not like later in the career. We're talking like the best games that they've had versus the best games that you've had.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I'm taking deGrom. I figure the name you're going to take is the name that I was struggling with. But yeah, so in his career, 44.8 WAR, 84 wins, 57 losses in 215 games started. Don't let that fool you. A lot of no decisions. The Mets really let this guy hang out to dry a lot of times. But so the fact that he even had a positive record was a miracle. Over 1,650 strikeouts in 1,356 in the third innings, a career whip under 1, and an ERA at 2.53. He is the all-time leader in strikeout to walk ratio, all-time ever in baseball.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year award. Yeah, Rookie of the Year award, and then as his second year, finished 7th in the Cy Young voting. 2 years later, 8th, and then won back-to-back Cy Youngs, and then was top 3 and top 10 the year after that. Injuries and the Mets' just inability to get this guy a win when he leaves the game with a lead is really what held him back. So I'm taking deGrom. I think he was clearly the most dominant, one game mano pitcher and who started their career in the 2010s.
Okay. I'm going to go DH here. I know I've got 3 picks left. I got DH, starting pitcher, and second baseman. And second baseman, there's no shot in hell you're grabbing the guy that I took, so I don't care. But I'm going to go DH in a lesser known name in households. Again, not a very large, sexy name, mostly because he played most of his career for the Anaheim Angels. And I said that correctly, the Anaheim Angels. I'm going to go with Mark Trumbo.
Wow. He wasn't even on my board. That's a good pick.
Yes. Over 1,000 hits, 218 home runs, 250 batting average, 630 home RBIs. And again, this is a guy that only played for 9 years. 302 OBP, 459 slugging, 761 OPS, and a 1080 or 108 OPS plus. So I realize that the numbers aren't super sexy there, but for the amount of time that he played, he was as good a bat off the bench as any. And as a result, yeah, for me.
Had a couple 40 home run seasons too.
He did, yeah. So, yeah, for me, Mark Trumbo, DH.
Yeah, I think his career kind of died when he went to Seattle. And, Seattle historically being a pitcher's park,
Hurt
Trumbo,
him,
wasn't a great fit there. But, yeah, he had a couple of great seasons with the Angels for sure. So it's a very solid pick. You kind of scared me when you were going DH, and then I realized, okay, I need to lock this guy down before I really get myself in trouble here. And it's Francisco Lindor. Machado was my number 1 shortstop, but Lindor was the only other name I was considering for that position. And not knowing off the top of my head if he played any games at second base, it doesn't look like he did. It looks like he's only played short and DH, which is good for me. but I didn't want to take the chance. Plus, I got to fill the position anyway, so I'm going Lindor at short. This is a guy for his career, 273 hitter, over 850 runs scored, 742 RBIs, 178 stolen bases, gets on base at a 341 clip, an OPS of 813 and an OPS plus of 118. He's kind of come on strong here a little bit, the last as the Mets have the last month. But, in his early days in Cleveland, this is a guy all-star, top 10 MVP, Gold Glove, all-star, top 5 MVP, Silver Slugger, all-star, top 10 MVP, Silver Slugger, all-star, top 15 MVP, Gold Glove, and then back-to-back top 10 MVP finishes in 2022 and 2023. So I think he still has some solid baseball left in him. I think it's a pretty good pick. But
if you remember with Lindor, the Indians offered him, because they were the Indians at the time, offered him a very large contract, and obviously New York money was able to beat it. Yeah, but no, like this is a guy that the Indians did not want to let go. Unfortunately, had no choice.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to fill my starting pitching position. Keep in mind his ERA is a little elevated because the last 2 seasons he's been piss poor in Boston. However, he's having a resurgence in Atlanta right now. His first starting year was 2011. I'm going to go with Chris Sale. He's got a career 3.08 ERA, over 1,900 innings pitched. He's got a 133 and 83 record. Again, the last 2 seasons been very poor. Over 2,300 strikeouts, just over 1 WHIP, 8-time All-Star, 1-time World Series champion. Yeah. Again, resurgence season aside, in the 2010s, he was so dominant. Look, the Red Sox and the Yankees, those are 2 teams that don't go and pay big money to a pitcher that isn't pitching well for a different team. And he was pitching so well for the White Sox that the Red Sox gave him a big contract.
Yeah, and he even openly admitted, he's like, yeah, I kind of feel bad about signing that contract now. After because he wasn't, so in a 2-year span, I think between 2022 and 2021, he only pitched 48 innings. He didn't throw a lot because he was hurt. He was hurt the year before that. He just could never stay healthy. So even in his, like you say, bad years, we're talking a 4.3 ERA in 2023 and a 4.4 ERA in 2019. He never had an ERA above 3.41 at any other point in throughout his career. And you actually misspoke. He started in 2010, the same year he was drafted, one of 55 players ever in Major League history to be in the MLB the same year they were drafted.
Apologies, my mistake.
Yeah, he started his career as a reliever. I almost was a smart ass and tried to draft him as a relief pitcher and really, put you down there. But no, I figured you would go with the other starting pitcher name that I had if it wasn't DeGrom or Sale. I'm assuming DeGrom was the other one you had.
DeGrom was not the other one I had.
Is it Garrett Cole?
It is not. I have a guy who won a Cy Young in Chicago.
Not Giolito, right?
Jake Arrieta.
Oh, okay. He started in the 2010s.
Yeah. Again, if we're talking 1 game straight up prime, Arrieta was dominant.
Oh, he's not DeGrom good, but
I didn't say he was DeGrom good. Sale is almost DeGrom good. They could match up.
Yeah, Sale was a beast, and wow, and a nightmare on lefties. So yeah, okay, you got Sale. Yeah, that's again not a bad pick at all. I'm going to lock down my catcher here. I'm going to go Mr. JT Realmuto. Salvador Perez was my number 1 catcher there. I feel like there was a bit of a fall off. However, JT Realmuto, not a bad option by any stretch of the imagination. I know he has had a tough couple years with the Philadelphia Phillies the last 2 years or so. However, this is a guy for his career, almost 1,200 hits, batting .272, stolen 95 bases, which as a catcher is pretty good. Not a big guy for getting on base at a 329 clip, but he does slug over 350 for his career. And his OPS plus is over 100 at 111. 2022, he was top 10 MVP candidate, and he also garnered MVP votes back in 2019. Couple Gold Gloves, few All-Star appearances. I don't think he's as gaudy as Salvi, but this is a guy who, couple years ago, before the bases were bigger and the game has changed as far as base running is concerned, JT Realmuto was really able to shut down a running game. So I think if we play by the 2010s rules in this simulated game, it's a little bit different.
I agree. No, I like that pick. I do. JT was the backup catcher I had.
Yeah, I had Salvi, of course, 1. I had JT Realmuto 2, and then I had Jonathan Lucroy in my 3rd spot.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, for my last position, it's a name that you and I are familiar with, and he doesn't have like hardcore, wonderful, amazing statistical numbers. However, the dude could get on base. I'm gonna go Gene Segura.
Okay.
In his career, over 1,500 hits. 110 home runs, not so great, but a 281 batting average, 513 RBIs, 211 stolen bases, a 327 OBP, again, gets on base at a pretty good clip, 401 slug, 729 OPS. He's only got a 97 OPS plus. I get it. And he was a 2-time All-Star. But again, in his prime, he could get on base. And what was that movie? Oh, yeah, Moneyball. What are we looking for these guys to do? Get on base. And he could do it. So I'm going to go Gene Segura playing second for my make-believe team. With my final pick.
That's a solid name for the Mr. Irrelevant of the draft. I am going to go my relief pitcher / closing pitcher, and I feel like it's the 1B potentially to Craig Kimbrell's 1A. And this guy actually has played for all of the same teams that Craig Kimbrell has had, just not at the same time and not for the same length. I am going to go longtime Dodgers closer, now turned Boston closer, Kenley Jansen, who I feel like silently has probably had one of the better careers as a closer. I know the last few years have not been good, particularly with the very obvious fall off in velocity that he's had from his Dodger days. But in 2017, he garnered both Cy Young and MVP votes as a closer, which is just absolutely unheard of. We've seen closers win Cy Young awards, but to finish top 15 in MVP voting, that's incredible. 2-time save leader, 4-time All-Star, and a 2-time Hoffman Reliever of the Year award. Kenley Jansen's pitched in some big games, and he's pretty much like Mariano Rivera cheap, where he only throws one pitch, just not nearly as well as Mariano did.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, stick around check out our YouTube channel, check out TikTok at B.S.ing Sports Podcast, where we will post our lineups with our starting pitchers, and we will let you guys vote who, if every player was in their prime, which lineup's better, who you taking in a Game 7 World Series style winner-take-all game. So,
I just thought about this. We could probably actually simulate this with MLB The Show.
We probably could.
Well, let's see what the votes say, and then we'll do a simulation, and we'll post the actual victory.
Yeah. That actually is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, we've got one more nice little thing to add to the show.
Okay. We got to put some music on that. I don't know what I want yet, but we got to figure it out. But anyway, yes, thank you.
No. It's just got to be fan cheer. You don't got to go changing everything. That's one of the most historic moments in baseball.
All right. Can I get the chop at least?
Oh, I'll put that in the outro. That'd be a good one.
Okay, I like that. But yeah, thank you for joining us here on B.S.ing Sports, part of the B.S.ing Network, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. Thank you and have a great night.